Talk about turning back the clock. Bet you weren't expecting to see the classic Dynasty intro to kick off the video. Yo, what's up? It's your boy Dynasty, and you know what it is? We're talking about hypotheticals, because this week is probably the only time we could even try to speculate on a potential NetherRealm Studios game getting revealed. I say that because this Thursday, December 11th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, that is when the Game Awards is kicking off. And between the Game Awards and Summer Game Fest, those are typically the only two events taking place where we see either it being DLC for Injustice or a Mortal Kombat reveal. It's usually where NetherRealm Studios decides to make their announcements. And obviously, if you guys are keeping up with the channel and the content, like 3 months ago, I kind of broke the internet because some of you guys are hitting me up and saying, yo, I was at this expo speaking to Phil Lamar, aka Jon Stewart, Green Lantern in Injustice, and he's letting me know that they're working on Injustice 3, and I actually had some proof, kind of, sort of, because the person, shout out to Danny Soul, actually showed me like his Injustice 2 steelbook that was signed by Phil Lamar. I reported on that, took the entire internet by storm. Again, shout out to like Super and comicbook.com for giving me credit, because legit, it broke the internet and very few people were actually citing the proper source, which was ya boy. Shout out to you guys, though. So yeah, we've known for at least 3 months, hypothetically, that NetherRealm Studios on their stove had this cooking up. And if not now, when? So like I kicked off the video. If I was a betting man, it's got to be the Game Awards. If it's not the Game Awards, it's going to be Summer Game Fest, summer of 2026. It's been, at this point, 2 years since the release of Mortal Kombat 1. You guys do know, typically speaking, back in the day, it was always like a 2-year window between game installments. This last game, being Mortal Kombat back-to-back, was something that pretty much changed the timeline we grew accustomed to for about a decade. So, is Injustice 3 going to get revealed this week? You know, you might be crazy for saying there's a chance, but, I mean, like I just said, if not now, when? Now, the big elephant in the room is the fact that, like, typically speaking, Injustice 2, they do, like, I'm not even kidding, like an eighth of the sales numbers that Mortal Kombat games do. They don't really sell that great. And given that WB is extremely desperate to turn a profit on any of their games, because, yeah, their last couple games have flopped pretty damn hard, would it make sense for them to do an Injustice 3, knowing that, well, it's probably only going to sell like 2 to 3 million copies when it's all said and done. Now, I don't really have any type of like defense to that point when it gets made, because you're right. Injustice sells like shit compared to Mortal Kombat. It kind of just is what it is. And it's kind of funny because you would think like more people are familiar with superheroes than, dare I say, a niche fighting game. But yeah, that's just kind of how it's always been. So we'll see. Now, I've kind of been mentioning it in passing in streams and stuff, because you guys might remember a couple weeks ago it was confirmed that essentially DC has this line of comics called DC KO, and it's essentially like a Mortal Kombat tournament with nothing but DC licensed characters from everywhere. And Sub-Zero was announced to be in DC KO. I believe it's debuting this episode installment in the comic, I want to say like March of next year, right? What if Injustice 3 is DC KO the game? Could you imagine if all they did was pretty much keep the gameplay legacy like we see with Injustice 1 and Injustice 2, and they essentially give us like a trilogy roster for the Injustice franchise? So you'd essentially have every character from Injustice 1, every character from Injustice 2, plus the guest DLC. I mean, I think that would be a success. Probably more of a success than just labeling it Injustice 3 and following whatever story that we have left to be told post Brainiac ending. Now again, that's just me hypothetically trying to think of some type of way to make sure Injustice 3 is a major success. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, I believe is the saying. We haven't had an Injustice game since 2017. Next year is 2026. If the game gets announced this week and it's dropping, let's say hypothetically, next May or so, that's damn near a decade without a new Injustice game. Could that wait kind of add to the hype? I would say yes. Especially when you consider the fact that, again, like, how much longer is Boone gonna be working on these games at NetherRealm Studios? Our boy has to retire. He deserves some time off eventually. He's given us a lot. So this could be, like, the end of the Injustice trilogy. And if they're really trying to hype up this DCKO spin-off comic series, Injustice 3 could still be Injustice 3, but you just kind of add this whole tournament aspect to it all. I feel like they could tie in a really nice way to give this game more oomph than ever before, especially if, again, they just stick to what they've already done, give you the Injustice 1, Injustice 2 roster, then from there, just add in everyone who didn't make the cut in those first two games, the likes of like a Beast Boy or whatever's really trending right now with DC Comics. I think there's room for that. Give me some Booster Gold. All those deep cuts. If you add all those characters plus the first two rosters and you give us a cool storyline, I mean, maybe it's more successful than the other two Injustice games, and that would mean by default, it's a success. A nice way to cap off the Injustice franchise, and hopefully in the future we get back to Mortal Kombat, and then we'll see what happens after that. So, do I think there's a chance Injustice 3, Injustice KO fighting game, whatever you want to call this hypothetical, gets revealed this week? Yeah, I do. I'd say it's probably like a 33% chance, which is, you know, a chance. But if we don't get it revealed this week, guys, we're probably not going to get any other chance, like I kicked off the video saying, until next summer. And then if they reveal this next summer, I would assume it probably be like Mortal Kombat 1. Maybe next May it gets announced, and then by the end of the year, similar to MK1, it was like a 4 or 5 month pre-hype build up to launch. I could see that too. So there's a couple ways this could play out, but I just wanted to give my thoughts on it all because I think it was like 2 weeks ago I watched Super talking about what he's hoping for, what he's expecting. I just want to see some legacy gameplay. You know what I mean? For me, I always enjoyed Injustice because it felt familiar, because guess what? The characters fought the same from one installment to the next. I think if they just kind of stick to that, hell, you could even keep the gear system the exact same way it was. You could still have mother boxes. Just add more options for customization for gear. Make it Injustice 2.5 if you have to. I think that would be a success. You know what I mean? Especially given the fact that, like, going into Mortal Kombat 1 territory, we lost out on so many damn features that even Injustice 2 had. Don't get me started on the AI battle simulator. The ability to even have your AI go through the ladders. Yeah, the RNG stuff that was, like, game-altering was kind of annoying. Like, trying to get the Staff of Grayson. It took me, like, 2 years to get the Staff of Grayson, and that sucked because, obviously, the Staff of Grayson essentially gave you a whole new character. And that did suck how it was just random. You know, it wasn't pay to win, but fuck. I was really hoping like the Ultimate Edition would unlock everything, and I don't think it necessarily did. I think you still had to actually find that in a mother box. So there are some things like that that I think are completely dated that we should get rid of, because I don't think gameplay changes that are that significant should just be something you get lucky when it comes to unlocking. Make it more streamlined, have character leveling again, and maybe just have stuff like that as like level 30. Something else that I think should also come back in this hypothetical next Injustice game, whatever they're going to do, Premier Skins. I thought Premier Skins were going to be something that we'd have as like a staple for NetherRealm games moving forward, because the idea where you just simply swap a skin and get to be a completely different character that just so happens to have similar gameplay abilities, like, that's genius. I think I made several Mortal Kombat videos about like Premier Skins for like Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 1, and obviously we haven't seen Premier Skins, I don't think, since Injustice 2. I guess we got like Hanzo Asashi and MK1, but I need some more things like that in my life because again, that just rounds out the roster, especially if some characters have similar abilities and maybe you don't want to waste the roster spot on 2 characters that fight the same. Well, guess what? Premier Skin makes everyone happy. So I think there's a lot of good that can be done with an Injustice 3. I'm really hoping something gets announced this week, but I'm going to stick to 33%. Do I think it's possible? Yes. Do I think it's likely? Probably not. Will I be reacting to the Game Awards just in case Ed Boon shows up and breaks the internet yet again? Yes, I will be. But yeah, this week, this Thursday, that is essentially the last time we could see any type of big reveal until the summer of 2026. But guys, that's all I got for y'all today. Don't want to rant too long. Just kind of want to touch base with you guys because we've not talked about this hypothetical Injustice 3 next NetherRealm game in about 2-3 months at this point, and obviously with it being this week, just kind of want you guys to be aware. Don't go into the Game Awards on Thursday expecting anything, but just keep a tab on it because, hey, you never know. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, it does take you a second. Please drop a like on it. Subscribe for some more content like this on the channel. Until next time, I've been your host, Ben Dynasty. Guys, please take care, stay safe. I love you. Thank you for watching. And down below, how do you think this is going to play out? Do you think we're going to be getting a game revealed this week? Or are we doomed for another 6 months? Love y'all. See you in the next video. Peace.